Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport, and some pretty breaking news and some big news in South African rugby, with a report coming out this morning saying that the SA Rugby franchise are set to get a salary cap increase, which is exactly what we've been waiting for and waiting to hear, which will make them more competitive in the global scheme of things in terms of being able to pay more players and potentially be able to contract more players. And with the shift of going overseas and going to up north for the sort of the 4 URC franchises, we kept sort of waiting for announcements like this. The whole point of moving up north was supposed to be the financial boost that was going to give to South African rugby. And for the first time, in just a few months after sort of going up north, we are starting to see steps towards hopefully the results of moving north. Before we sort of dive into the report and talk about exactly what the numbers are and what sort of the process is going to be over what will be a 2-year period with salary cap increases over the next 2 seasons, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. So it's something we've been talking about quite a lot on the channel, is the fact that we've gone north, and the whole idea to go north was, first of all, to align rugby calendars with in terms of time zones and stuff like that, so you're watching rugby at suitable times and not watching it at early hours in the morning and stuff like that. But the biggest reason was supposed to be the financial boost, start earning, to getting euros, to potentially getting pounds into SA Rugby, and to try and give that financial boost to the SA Rugby sides. Now, with the rugby brain drain that has been happening over the past sort of decade, it's been crucial that one of the biggest things in terms of the reinvestment of this money goes towards players, in terms of being able to pay players enough to try and sort of ward off the interest from international clubs. Because at the moment, we've got like almost half the Springbok side playing internationally because we cannot afford to compete with the sort of contracts that are being offered. And that was going to continue to be the case unless we were to sort of move that salary cap increase further up, which has happened. So at the moment, the salary cap for South African teams is sitting at 61.9 million rand, and you're allowed to contract 50 players within that. So that is currently the situation. Now, there is set to be an increase from 61.9 million to 65.5 million, so a 3.6 million rand increase for next year. However, the amount of players contracted can still only be 50 up until June 2022. From 2023, the salary cap will increase to 67.2 million rand in 2023. And on top of this, the franchise will be allowed to spend 8 million rand on development players. So it's quite a big boost if you sort of factor in that extra sort of 8 million rand. And then it looks like, they potentially will be able to sort of then be able to contract more players. Be able to sort of have probably your sort of 50 and then be able to sort of contract development players under a different sort of category. So that is what applies to the Lions, Stormers, Bulls, and the Sharks. However, there will also be an increase for the other sides, the Currie Cup sides. At the moment, Cheetahs, Griquas, and Pumas can't contract more than 45 players with a 17 million rand cap. I mean, this sort of shows you the sort of the difference and how they're never going to be able to compete. That is actually an increase. So currently it's 16 million, but it'll go up to 17 million, and then it'll go up to further 18 million rand in 2023. So there's also been an increase for the other teams as well. And then it says that players contracted to one of the South African URC teams must receive a reported minimum salary of 36,155 rand a month next year. So that means your junior players, your everyday sort of junior players, Jordan Hendricks or not even that, players like an MJ Pulse at the Lions, players like say your Stefan Gans at the Bulls and stuff like that, sort of players who are sort of coming through the system, they will earn a minimum of 36,000 rand a month from next year. So whilst it might not necessarily be sort of taking the massive steps to rein in and be able to start offering contracts similar to that the top 14 in the Premiership are offering, it is a massive step in the right direction. And I think the biggest thing is that we need to make sure that we can offer similar contracts to what these players are receiving in the URC at the very least. Make sure that, an Archie Snyman can earn as much money playing in South Africa as he can in Ireland. Damon Daylindi can earn as much money living in South Africa as he can in Ireland. Therefore, it comes down to where does he want to play as opposed to where financially does he have to play. So, it just sort of, if you could just sort of start ticking off the competitions and say, right, well, Ireland is no longer a destination to earn stupid amounts of money for South African players. It has to be either Premiership or the top 14, and slowly start taking steps towards that. Eventually, excuse me, in 10 years' time, you want to be in a situation where financially, you can earn as much money in South Africa as you can anywhere in the world, and therefore you are simply picking where you want to play, not where financially you have to play. Because at the moment with Japan and stuff like that, players, why would you stay in South Africa when you can earn twice as much money overseas? And you can't blame the players, but hopefully with this sort of increase and sort of steps towards, we can move towards a situation where that will no longer be the case, and that we can have our best players playing in South Africa. So it's a step, it's a start, basically. And I think, the big thing is we're not going to be able to sort of or necessarily bring a lot of players back, although there are rumors that the Sharks are looking at, for example, the two Dupree brothers. But hopefully, with these increases, we can start lining up contracts to keep the young and up-and-coming players in South Africa and sort of prevent, players from, having that one great season then suddenly going overseas and almost sort of being like a shopping window at the moment with the URC where your Premiership, your top 14 Japanese clubs are watching the URC thinking, cool, we're literally, who's coming next? What players are we going to pick up next? So that is sort of the biggest sort of step towards the right direction. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Will this make a big difference? Do you think this is too little? Do we need to sort of extend it even more? Do you see future increases coming up in a couple of years? What do you think down in the comments below? Let me know. Please do smash like on the video as well and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.